Okay, so I think we'll get started here. Once again, thank you everybody who's joined us, and obviously a big welcome to Thuan for taking the time. This is the Ask the Expert series, so welcome to the Ask the Expert series, where we ask industry leaders about their unique perspective on how to navigate the most difficult challenges faced by the broader real estate and financial services ecosystem. And also giving you a chance to ask the expert some of the more pressing questions on your mind. My name is Hasan Rizvi. I'm the CTO of States Title, and today I'm excited to welcome the CEO of Loan Factory, Mr. Thuan Nguyen, to talk about the topic, the age of the tech-assisted mortgage. Thuan made a career switch from a software engineer to a mortgage broker and has been a California mortgage broker since 2006, when he founded Loan Factory. Since becoming a broker, he built the mortgage software known as MOSO, I guess if I'm pronouncing that correctly. He'll talk more about it later, which helps mortgage brokers with customized websites, online application generation, rate alerts, and cloud-based document management. He was named the #2 broker nationwide by the Scotsman Guide 2019 ranking, with production of $507 million. He's now on track to close over $1 billion in 2020. Congratulations. So with that, we'll get started. Welcome, Thuan, again. I'll start with the following question. So, in our short introduction, we mentioned you made the leap from data and engineering to become a broker and founder of Loan Factory. A number of our leaders and employees did the same, bringing prior knowledge and an innovative attitude to our mission here at States Title. What made you move into mortgage, and what attributes do you think someone needs to make such a big move successfully?
Very interesting question. And my answer is probably not what you are looking for. I make the move by chance. It's just that I get tired of working. I used to work for Morgan Stanley, the Wall Street company, and I get tired. I don't like it. So I stopped working, and before that, I bought a house, and I saw that the broker that helped me, she did the transaction was so smooth, and she made like more than $4,000. And I feel like, well, she didn't do anything, and she makes so much money. So maybe I can do that too. And that's why I make the switch. And when I become a mortgage broker, I did not have any mentor. No one helped me at all. I just study online and get a license and become the broker and open my company. And because of starting a company without any experience, without any customer base, I didn't know how to run it. So it wasn't successful at all. And I had to shut it down. I went back to the tech world to work for a startup company. But at the same time, I didn't give up. I keep learning, I keep improving, I keep learning so that I can build up a customer base. And I build up my knowledge base, and eventually customers love me, and they keep coming back and keep referring more and more customers. And I didn't even use technology until about 7 years ago, when I run into problem. As you know, back then, 7 years ago, there's only like 1 or 2 software to help with mortgage, which is Calyx Point, and it's very basic. And when I have like 200 loans, it become impossible for me to manage. So that is when I start building my own software, MOSO.
So, I mean, you kind of, you mentioned this already, but, so you saw obviously an opportunity that drew you in. Since then, and you kind of alluded to already, what challenges do you think we've addressed, and what big problems still remain from your perspective?
There's a lot of challenges, and I've been addressing my problem ever since 7 years ago. I've been working and solving problem for the past 7 years. But as you know, there's always problem. And I've been addressing a lot of issues. Um, but then remember, Moso, we build Moso for mortgage broker mostly, not for the lender yet. And I solved tons of problem. But as you have to be aware that every company have their own problem. Everyone have their own problem, and it's very difficult to come up with a solution for everyone. And that is why it's very difficult to build a software that address everyone problem. I can only focus on building a software that addressing the problem that facing the broker.
Okay.
Mostly small and middle-sized broker. And now I'm running into problem when I grow so big. I become a big broker now with different type of problem. And I'm in the process of addressing it, fixing the problem right now.
But let me ask you this. So, you know, obviously, as you said, you kind of started building your own software because you saw some gaps. And we've seen several lenders and brokers developing their own, you know, software and data stacks. Why do you think we need custom solutions? Like, what's so different about, like you said, you know, can you give some examples of what you faced and that made you kind of develop your own, you know, your own software as opposed to something that might have existed before? Like, what were the main customer needs that you wanted to support?
Basically, when we run a business, there's a lot of requirement. The requirement regarding marketing, advertising, how to build trust, how to collect application, how to process the loan, how to collect the documents from the borrower, how to communicate with the borrowers, how to keep track of what are the important information that the customer wants, how to do a CRM, how to communicate to the borrower about the current rate or the future rate, how to bring back the customer. Let's say if they close a loan with us 7 months ago, 6 months ago, and now rate drop, how do we bring them back? How do we build relationship with the realtor? There are thousands of questions, thousands of problems that we need to address. And when we build a software, we try to address all of these problems. But then remind me if I miss any question, because your question.
No, so I think one of the things that there are two things that seem to emerge from this. One, it looks like your product was really the amalgamation of an LOS and a CRM capabilities, because those obviously existed in various forms, but looks like given your focus on service, you really started with like, why are you successful in this business? Is because of service, which we agree with. I mean, clearly this is a very service heavy business, and you know, that's what customers require, and that's why they come back. Seems like you really wanted to focus on the service element, which is why you went in the direction of trying to get the core LOS capabilities integrated very closely with CRM. Was that part of the motivation? How did that play out?
So the motivation is there are some solutions out there, but they are broken up. Like they are very specialized. CRM, LOS, POS. Moso, we build Moso that have all of these components together. One piece of software that do everything. So our software can collect, you know, we have a website facing the consumer, the customer, the client can fill out application online. They can submit documents online. We have a CRM to keep the communication with the borrower. We have the LOS. We have the even post-closing, we have an automation system to send out email to the borrower automatically. So I built every single solution in all together in one piece of software that handle everything. And I don't think there's such a software right now like this in the market that do everything. And as you know, it's not easy for the software to talk to each other. You might have a piece of software, very good, they are the LOS for you, but then you have no way of interfacing with the customer, collecting the paper, the application and paperwork. You don't have a CRM system to maintain the relationship with the customer. So it's extremely difficult for the software to talk to each other. And even a simple thing like phone communication, text, phone, messaging, we work with ring changer and we are integrating with them so that everything we do work together so that we know simplify our process and make
Got it.
everything so much easier.
Got it. And so it looks like, I mean, outside of the service integration, just the integration, the ability to integrate with all the different ecosystem providers was another important element. Let's switch gears a little bit. Obviously, COVID-19 came unplanned, and everybody's seen changes because of that. And obviously, the volumes have increased for all the reasons that we all understand. How have you responded to keep up the loan volume and evolve the customer experience in these kind of challenging times?
This is a very interesting question, and I think everyone are facing this problem. Some title company, they shut down the operation. Some title company stop working with 300 brokers so that they can focus on their main customers. It's an issue that everyone are facing right now. And I remember back in March, when we have a wave of refinancing, I was so back up. We got over 1,500 active loans and we cannot process anymore. So when the loan coming in, we got stuck. We cannot even touch it or submit it for more than 2 days. Nothing can happen because everyone's so overwhelmed. Every processor was handling 80, 100 loans and they cannot even process it more. So that is the problem that I faced 5 months ago. And I was upset, of course, when customer come to me and I cannot help them and customer was upset. Customer service is important. They come to us for help. They want us to help and lock rate for them ASAP. And if we have a loan sitting there, going nowhere, of course, everyone got mad. Customer got mad. So I come up with a solution by improving our process. We turn into an assembly line where the loan coming in, we have a different department to take care of the loan. The first department can be set up department, and then when it's finished set up, the LOA or the LO can jump in and underwrite the loan, and then pass it on to submission, pass it on to condition, and pass it on to closing. So we build an assembly line model. And now it's up and running, and we can handle more than double that volume. Now we have over 3,200 loans, active loans, and we are able to move it so fast. Every loan can come in, we can submit and lock rate for them within the same day. So that to show you how innovation, how my ability to adapt and make changes will allow me to solve any problem that I see.
So it looks like specialization was a big, like the way to kind of organize your work was a big part of it. On the technology side, coming back to that a little bit. So, as you know, what we are focused on in addition is also kind of seeing how we leverage data science and the kind of emerging technologies. I'm curious to hear your experience in terms of data science, particularly, how have you leveraged, or have you seen any applications, or how have you seen that deliver value to your process?
Data science. So when I focus on what makes me successful and different than other is I focus into every little detail. So when I develop my application, I make sure it's simple. It's simple. We only collect necessary information from the borrower, because if we ask them to fill out a full long application, they will give up. And we try to automate as much as possible. So like property tax, insurance, we can estimate. They, I pay attention to detail, the data that they have from the customers. Um, I this is something that I need to focus on. I'm still not focused completely on data science yet, but I'm mainly focused on the process more than the data itself. I focus on what the customer need, the client, what they need, and focus on that. So I build my pricing engine, and I allow my client or anyone to use our pricing engine. So as you know, most of the lender and the bank, they don't show their rate to the consumer. But I am different. I show my rate to everyone. They can come to our website and check the rate. It takes them 30 seconds. The consumer can check out the rate, the cost, the payment, to see if they qualify or not. We make everything so simple for the client. So instead of having a website with too much information, we make it so simple. When the consumer, they come, we give them what they want. They want to know the rate, the cost. They want to know if they qualify or not. They want to know if they refinance, would they save money or not. You know, the important thing. And if after we answer all the questions that they have, they can click on the button and fill out the application. So it's very easy and simple. And when they fill out the application, we automatically create an account for them so that they can come back and finish the application if they left it out. So it's very convenient and easy for them. That is what I'm looking at, what is in their mind.
So just a reminder to the people who've joined us live, we will be taking questions in a few minutes. So if you have any questions, please feel free to submit them. Let me ask one other question. So, and I think you kind of alluded to a little bit already, but as you look forward now, particularly from a technology perspective, it looks like borrower experience is a big focus area for us. You said, you know, data science might be another area that you'll invest more, but can you give us some sense of what is the roadmap ahead in terms of your the Moso platform, and what are the investment areas that you're very excited about?
Yeah, so the customer experience is definitely important. We give them what they want. They can see all the answer customized to their situation. And what make my company, my process is so good is that we give them the control. We give the customer the control. They are the one that fill our application. They are the one that submit the document to us. They are the one that monitor the rate. They are the one that tell us to lock the rate. So they are in control of the entire process, not us. But in effect, I give them the control, but I give them the work. They do all the work for us. I don't have to do it. That way, they are happy. They know what's going on. They're in control. And if anything happen, anything go wrong, it's their problem. It's not my problem. So that way, it saved me time, save me trouble, and make everything move so fast, so easy. And that is what we are working on. That's what we are good at. And the area that we are focusing on is to have more automation. We are working with a few lenders to get the pricing into our website and allow our team to one click and submit the loan to the lender. Just similar to the software Arrive, we try to be integrating with the lender. At the same time, we are trying to integrate with the title company so we can get the fee directly from them. And if that happens, we can have one click to generate the LE for the borrower, for the consumer. So integration is the key, and we are focused on the integration. And then I hope most of you know that the new 1003 will come in now sometime next year. And we are working on that as well to make sure we are compliant. And yeah, the new 1003, those are the areas that we are working on.
Okay, so before I take a couple of questions that I have, let me ask you one other thing. So in terms of your platform as well as your business in general, any particular metrics that you track, particularly in terms of the efficiency metrics, the times to close or customer satisfaction? Like what are the key metrics that drive your business that you track on a daily basis?
Yeah, I mean, this is this is something I want to focus on as well. Customer experience, customer happiness is so important. So I just give my employees bonus if they got 5-star review from the customers. So to motivate them to provide excellent service. And then the next step would be in the next month, I will focus on tracking the turn time. How long it takes my staff to submit a loan, to get the loan approved, to close the loan, and customer are happy or not. So we will break down to every piece of every department, what are the turn time for each department. And that way I can reward my employee and I can track the performance, make sure we can continue, we can isolate the problem. Is it submission or setup or condition or closing? Where is the problem? Where is the, and then I can track the metric over time to try to improve it constantly. So those are what I'm focusing on to improve the turn time and efficiency.
Okay, perfect. Now let me take a question, sorry, excuse me, that is on a lot of our audience's mind, which is around remote closing. I mean, one of the impacts of COVID obviously was the fact that in-person interaction became a challenge, and our CEO Max Simkoff has been very vocal, suggesting that the industry must make remote closing a part of a new normal, basically. Beyond just looking at the current limitations. What are your thoughts in terms of some of those kinds of innovations, like remote closing, like a more electronic experience for the consumer? Did you incorporate some of those? Have you seen more adoption? What do you think is going to happen with some of these types of areas going forward?
Yeah, I think remote closing is excellent, no innovation. If it can be rolled out, I would be the first one to adopt it. Most of our business are in California, and California we cannot do remote closing yet. But if California allowed remote closing, I would be the first one to adopt it. I would love it because it will solve so much problem. Just a few days ago, I have customer call me and complain that the notary didn't show up. I mean, the last minute thing like that. Or, and then that most closing take place after hour, weekend. And the customer waiting and waiting, and the notary didn't show up or show up late, and they call, and nobody in our office are working in the weekend or off hour. And customer is so upset. And also, when they sign the document, they see something wrong, they want to have question. So basically, remote closing is one of the best things to improve customer service. We don't want last minute problem. And remote closing can solve so many things. It not only save time, but money and trouble. So if the industry adopt remote closing, that would be a very good thing.
Mm-hmm. Okay, let me ask another thing, kind of, again, switching gears, looking forward a little bit. You were the number 2 mortgage broker in the nation in 2019 and projected to do $1 billion in loan in 2020. What's your feeling in terms of the market looking forward? 2021, I mean, relative to obviously some of the challenges that we spoke about in terms of COVID, but even otherwise, how do you see the market playing out?
Very good question. I already broke $1 billion mark. So I broke that mark already.
Congratulations.
And so I see that this year gonna be the best year ever. 2021 gonna be tough. 2021 gonna be tough. The reason is GP 0.5% will hit in the next 2-3 weeks. And most people that want to refinance might have already refinanced. So even though next year rate might stay low, but people already refinance. So our industry depend on purchase and refinance. So purchase is there's a limited number of house or the supply and demand out there. So we cannot increase it quickly or decrease it quickly. It's more like very stable. So the market rely mostly on refinancing right now. And if most people already refinance, then there will it's gonna be dropping next year. It's not gonna be as good as this year. And my advice is there will be a lot of challenges up in the future because mortgage industry had seen a lot of innovation, a lot of technology, a lot of new players come into the market with technology, with new process in place, and they are able to scale, able to offer very, very low rate. So if we are not prepared, if you are not improved, if you are not ready, you will have a hard time in this industry. You can see there's more and more people coming into this market. A lot of LO become a broker, a lot. And the competition is getting heated up a lot in the past year, and there's gonna be a lot more competition in the future. And mortgage will become a commodity, more like commodity with technology, with the new process in place. All that will make loan become a commodity, at least for the top borrowers. The borrower that qualify for sure, and their loan is so easy. So there will be more competition coming in, and my advice is for everyone to improve, to learn, to get better, so that you can your business can grow.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. That's wise words. Before we wrap up, I guess one question based on what you just said. As you described the mix between refi and resale, um, in your world, did you have to prioritize? Like, given the volume and et cetera that you saw in 2020 and how you're at least suggesting 2021 might play out, did you have to make some hard calls in terms of the product mix that you had before and after?
Very good question. Right now, more than 90% of my business is refinance, and it's easy money. Purchase is so difficult, a lot of time pressure, and we make the same amount of money. So most brokers have tendency to focus on refinance, but then purchase is very important because it, it's a new customer for you. Purchase, the buyer, new customer, and they will come back to you. Secondly, the realtor. The realtor is very important. They will refer customer to you. So even though it's easy money to make money on refinance, but it's so important to continue to focus on purchase. And therefore, I have to have a team specialized in purchase so that we don't neglect that. We can continue to focus and provide excellent service so that we have more customer coming in, more realtor referring customer to us. This is important segment, and we should not ignore. Yeah.
Perfect. So we are at the top of, the end of our time. Thuan, thank you for taking the time to talk to us today. Your insights and experience were extremely valuable. We really appreciate your time. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Hasan. Thank you, everyone.